Randall, welcome to the Texas Engineering and Technology Network. Can I ask you to introduce yourself, please?
Thank you, David. Appreciate your invitation to come to this group. My name is Randall Hand. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area. I'm a lawyer and I've been handling technology issues for, probably about 30 years now. And quite interested in finding out more about this group and how we can work together.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And can you tell me about what you specialize in the technology space? Sure.
I've worked for a number of companies, CA Technologies, HCL Technologies, as well as representing both startup and established companies in terms of corporate structure, in terms of contracts, software licensing, technology deals, mergers, acquisitions, kind of just the general scope of what you need a lawyer for. Done a little bit of employment law, a little bit of real estate. That's not really my area of expertise, but working with computer guys, mostly hardware and software. I've done a little programming myself a while back, and I've also been a litigation attorney before that. So I'm familiar with the court, how things get into problems. I've been an arbitrator and a mediator. So getting people to come to a resolution of an issue is kind of at the heart of handling a lot of the things that I do. So whether that's a contract or whether it's a problem. So that's my area.
Okay, and that will be very useful for some of the members, I'm sure. Okay, and what is your superpower that you can share with the members of the network?
I thought that was a funny question, David. It's like a superpower. Okay, where's my cape? So I think basically distilling concepts, complicated concepts down to something simple, understanding, the business case behind what you're trying to solve so that it can be articulated properly in a contract or in a negotiation. That role of being that intermediary is what a good legal counselor does. And interpreting for internal purposes to understand here's the law, the regulations, the things that apply, how we have to make operational changes, things that need to be done to comply, or in dealing with an opposing party, here's the business reason why we need this particular clause in the contract. This is what we're negotiating about. You can get into the middle of a negotiation and somebody may just have this is the way we've always done it mentality. And you have to get past that to what's the business reason for that? And is it really applicable here? Or can we come up to some other way to resolve that issue? So that's kind of the area that I work in. And my role is to bring that expertise and experience that I have in the years I've been doing this to each particular problem and offer up solutions. That's really what you do. You're a facilitator for how do we get this problem solved. Of course, part of the problem is you have to understand there is a problem, right? Yep. So sometimes it's identifying issues, and that's why lawyers really like to get engaged early with the tech team, engineers, the technology teams, so that you can find out, what are you actually working on? What's the problem you're trying to solve for a customer? And does that trigger any, for example, privacy issues? Does that trigger government regulation issues? Does that trigger personnel issues? Things that you may not have thought of, but because somebody's stepping back from it and looking at a bigger picture, can identify those for you.
Okay, I can see that would be very useful. Okay, good. And in the network, we like to do both give and take. So what's the best thing we can do to help you along?
Well, I think just introducing to the other members of the network and hearing from you, what are the problems that you're running into that have a legal aspect to it? Unfortunately, in a lot of companies, legal becomes known as the Department of No, and the NO, right? And that's not the way it works. As a partner in the business, the job is to get the business done. And it's not to just throw up a roadblock, but sometimes there's inefficiencies, sometimes there's misunderstandings, and most of the time, especially with in-house counsel, they're overworked. There's too much to do. There's too broad of a scope of issues to be handled, and you have to tie in with other people. So having a good network of people to have ideas, just back and forth of, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? That sounding board effect, I think that's useful for me as well as you.
Okay, yeah. And when I was in the corporate world, we used to call the legal department the sales prevention team.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Really, if you're good in working with your sales team, and you can prepare your sales team and say, look, here are the top legal issues you're going to run into, and they're ready for it, you're going to be helping them a lot more than preventing sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, and then the final question. What is the question you would really wish I'd asked you on this interview?
I had to think about that for a minute. I think the question is this: what's your why? What's your why? That's the question I would have said you would ask, because anytime for any of the businesses that we go into, well, the question that drives us is, why are we doing this? What's the point, right? Why do I offer legal services? Why do I assist people? And it's got to be a higher purpose than just making money, right? That's only going to get you so far. You got to have a reason for it. And so, my wife and I, we have the law business, we have a health and wellness business, we have a church that we're working in, and all of this is oriented toward helping people to achieve their optimal results in their business, their family, their health. Why? To honor God. We're believers, and we believe that what we ought to be doing is honoring God in what we do. So that's my question.
That's good. And that's that's a big question. It goes back to, I think, was it Viktor Frankl? When there's a big enough why, you can tolerate anyhow. I think that's the way he put it. That's excellent. Okay, Randall, that's been a real pleasure. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in the network. And as we discussed as well, when we get to the point of doing sort of some of the little lunch and learns or the educational webinars, I appreciate the offer that you would maybe lead one of them for us and do some teaching for the members of the network as well.
Yes, I look forward to that.
That's great. Randall, thanks for your time, and look forward to having you in the network.
All right. Thank you, David.
Thanks. Bye-bye.